So this segment is on answers to key questions prospective members with disabilities have. So one of the big questions is whether or not AmeriCorps service is considered work or gainful employment. The answer is no. Engaging in national service does not mean that you're gainfully employed or are working. So AmeriCorps is not a form of employment, and it is a temporary position with fixed end dates. So I want to look next at the monetary benefits of serving. So do members earn anything other than purely experience, which we've talked about a lot? And the answer is yes. There's two kinds of monetary awards that members are eligible for. The first is a modest living allowance that's received during the service term itself. The second is the Siegel AmeriCorps Education Award, which is a post-service benefit, which is received by participants who complete a full service term in an AmeriCorps program. And the award is named after Eli Siegel, who is one of the pioneers in the national service movement and was the first CEO of the Corporation for National and Community Service. So to be eligible, you have to have completed a full service term within a 12-month window of time. And other things to know about this award: the award could be used to pay eligible expenses at post-secondary educational institutions, or to pay down debt from college or graduate studies to repay student loans, essentially. So the dollar amount of these education awards is actually centered on what the U.S. Department of Education's Pell Grant is set for each year. Currently, members can also earn up to the value of 2 full-time awards if they were in back-to-back service terms. In other words, if they serve one service term and then another service term, they could get an award for each of those. And you would have 7 years from the date that you earn that service to be able to use that award. So it doesn't have to be used automatically. Members can also divide up these awards so they can go for multiple things, maybe part of it for repaying debt and part of it for tuition costs or something like that. That's just an example. Since the inception of AmeriCorps in 1994, more than 1 million alumni have earned more than $2.4 billion in education awards. We'll go to the next slide. Will service impact receipt of supplemental security income or SSDI? So these are benefits to the Social Security Administration. And the answer is that it depends on the type of benefit and the program. In terms of SSI, which is the need-based benefit people with disabilities receive, there is no impact across any of our programs. So if you receive SSI, you can participate and get a living allowance that will not be impacted in AmeriCorps state and national programs, in National Civilian Community Corps programs, and in AmeriCorps Vista. All 3 of those programs, you would have no challenge or difficulty with your benefits and your living allowance. But it is different if you are a recipient of SSDI. And so the only program that we have in the AmeriCorps family that allows someone to receive SSDI and a living allowance without impact is the AmeriCorps Vista program. So if you are part of AmeriCorps State and National or the NCCC program, those programs, if you're on SSDI, you're going to have an impact to your benefit because you're receiving a living allowance that's not considered exempt. All of this was presented through the HARD Act, which was the Heroes Earning Assistance and Relief Act of 1998, which carved out this exception for SSI, but didn't carve out the exception for SSDI recipients. So according to the HARD Act, we've paved the way for SSI recipients to be able to fully participate in our programs, and then also SSDI recipients to participate in VISTA while still receiving their benefits and their living allowance. So we'll look at this type of service opportunities available. So in terms of types, I just wanted to focus on, what is the length of a service term? This actually varies quite a bit. Most of the service programs are about a year, but there are some that are much shorter. There are some AmeriCorps State and National programs that only span a couple of months, like the summer period. And so each program has its own unique requirements and its own length of time. So it's important to look into the details for each program opportunity that you're applying to. Do members serve multiple times? Could they serve multiple times in back-to-back service terms? It's true. Some people do serve more than once, maybe in one program and then another type of program. However, there is a maximum for sequential service terms, and that's 3 terms in a row. You cannot serve beyond a 3rd term in a row. Are there part-time options for service? Yes, especially in AmeriCorps State and National, there are some programs that offer part-time service as well. That may impact some of the benefits that I've discussed already, though. So we'll go ahead and look at accommodations and service. Will AmeriCorps programs be prepared to accommodate people with disabilities? The answer is yes. All corporations for national and community service programs are recipients of federal funds, which means that they are required to provide reasonable accommodations to qualified individuals according to Section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act. Another question is, would vocational rehabilitation have to pay for some of the accommodation costs? Well, most of the programs are actually prepared to handle the cost of accommodating individuals with disabilities. It's true that some nonprofits may struggle to be able to pay for extremely costly accommodations that are required by some individuals with disabilities. And so in that situation, in that instance, it could be quite helpful for a vocational rehabilitation agency to be able to provide some sort of supplemental accommodation funding for that nonprofit.